here. So the first design layer is our anchor items, those foundational pieces, those non-movable pieces that we are working around in the garden. In this space, the primary anchor is the garden house, but your anchors could also be things like your home, a garage, a permanent fence, a living hedge. These provide the backdrop and define the boundaries that we have to work within. We added the garden house in 2022. When I planned this out, I decided exactly where I was going to have it sit before I even designed the door and window placement on the garden shed. We removed a section of the 4-foot fence, and as you can see, it used to just be a grassy backyard where our children and their dog played. Once the garden house was in place, the fence went back up to bridge both sides. At that point, the fence then stopped being just to keep pets inside and became my actual backdrop layer of my garden, giving me that enclosed look that I wanted so that I could incorporate that European courtyard feel, kind of that secret garden feel. Before we move into the second layer, I wanted to share a few finds from my curated collection. If you're looking to bring some of this garden feel into your home, these white porcelain birds are a favorite of mine for styling on a bookcase or a mantle. They have such a soft, organic look. And if you're looking for a gift for someone or maybe just for yourself, this butterfly mug set is a lovely way to enjoy the garden from your kitchen table. You can find these at michelleshomeandgarden.com. Okay, so layer 2 is our garden decor, those design elements that we're going to incorporate into the garden bed. Now, a caveat here, your layer 2 and your layer 3 may switch, they may flip-flop, or they may intertwine, layer 3 being your greenery. Now, in some garden beds, you may already have an established garden bed that has your greenery in it, your plants and your flowers, and you need to add the design elements, the decor into it. But if you're starting from scratch, you may already have some of those styling elements on hand that you want to put into the garden before you do the plants. So just keep that in mind. They can go back and forth, and either or is perfect, but that is part of the layers. So let's talk about the layer 2, those design elements, that decor that's going to go into this garden bed. In this design, the first styling elements I added were the window boxes. Notice that I hadn't even put a single plant in the ground yet. I also had an existing gate that served as the entry point to the backyard. I knew that this needed its own sense of arrival, so I chose to frame it with a black metal arbor. By adding the arbor over the gate, I effectively created 3 walls for that backdrop for my garden bed: the garden house, the wooden fence, and the rose arbor. And I definitely needed a place to grow those beautiful David Austin roses. So to finish this layer, I designed a paver edge in a soft curving pattern to lead the eye through the space. These elements set the stage for the greenery to follow. Now, layer 3 is the greenery. And what is so important on layer 3 is that this has not only a color palette, but also a purpose. And you're saying, a purpose? What do you mean by a purpose? What is the point of this garden? Is it just to be beautiful out in the landscape? Or is it for double duty, like in my case, where I wanted to plant things that I could cut and make bouquets with, bring them inside, have those beautiful flowers inside, have flowers to gift to people in vases. So what is the point of your garden? Because the flowers that you plant and the greenery that you plant, if you're using it for cut flowers, may be different if you're just using plants for the landscape. And also the color palette. Now, in my case, I wanted a collected European style color palette. I wanted to lean more to those cooler tones of the whites, the lavenders, and the pinks, purples. So those were the 3 colors that I stuck to. Now a color palette is going to help you unify your space. For bouquets, like what types of flowers and what colors do you enjoy looking at in your indoor or on your garden table bouquets? You want to be growing those too. I wanted the back layer closest to the fence to act as a living hedge. So I planted 3 limelight hydrangeas. I specifically chose these because I love the rose and hydrangea combination for my bouquets. The creamy white to green tones of the limelights are the perfect companion to the roses, both in the landscape and in the vase. They also are beautiful as they fill in as a living hedge. Now for the middle layer, I mixed in highly scented roses with lavender, catmint, salvia. I chose a variety of smaller shrubs for the front of the border because I wanted different textures and colors to work with when I'm finding flowers for the home. While a row of boxwoods would have been very classic and European, I wanted more variety and textures for beautiful flower bouquets. It really comes down to knowing before you start what is the most important thing you want your garden to provide for you this season. And I'd love to hear what you're planning for your own spaces in the comments. So that was spring of 23 that all of this was planted up. And you can see that a lot of the perennials are very tiny. And so one thing I would suggest is make sure you're filling in with annuals. The containers, the window boxes, those are really taking the show for these first couple years to help bridge the flowers that haven't bloomed yet and are being established. The first year or two, it's going to be mainly the roots, and we're going to get a little bit of color from those plants in the ground, but the window boxes and planters is what's going to really help fill in why we're waiting for our plants to mature. So if you can add planters in your garden beds, add a window box on a garden shed or a fence to add additional color to your garden while you wait for your plants to mature. As gardens evolve over time, to finish this space this last season, I tucked in a vintage Victorian style grapevine chair near the arbor. This was a gift from my sister. I styled it with a found rabbit statue and a concrete urn. In styling, we often talk about the rule of 3. By grouping 3 objects of different heights and scales, the chair, the rabbit, and the urn, you create a vignette that feels dynamic and collected rather than staged. It adds that final layer of depth and interest right at the entry point of the garden. Before you start your spring planting, take a look at your garden space through the lens of those layers. What are your anchor pieces? Do you need to add some design elements to your garden? And how are you going to bring the garden home? What kind of flowers and plants are you going to add? Well, if you are looking for some ideas on design elements to add to your garden, recently in a video, I showed you the top 5 that you need to have in your garden. Do you have all 5 of these? This will give you some more ideas on different design elements you can add in your garden to make it beautiful and have it just how you want it this year, that elevated, timeless look. Well, have a great week, and I will see you in our next video.